welcome to episode 57 of Soccercraft. In the last episode, we got started up building this really cool raid arena, and in between episodes, I've been running a few raids and having a really great time using it, but there's a few things that I want to do to it to make it even more fun. But before we get started looking at any of the redstone that we're going to do today, I've been in a creative world coming up with designs for what I want to do for the wall here. So what I'm going to do first to figure out where I want to put that wall is I'm going to open up, actually I'm going to show the render, and you can see the shape that I used to help me build out this wall, which is actually I think just like 7 circles all really close to each other so that you kind of just see the edges of them. And if we open up the shapes, go to the shape manager, you can see that all of them have a radius of 25. So what I'm going to do is up the radius to 30 or 31, and we'll just see how much farther the wall goes out from there. So I changed the radius of all the circles to 31, and now it seems to be concealing all the redstone perfectly, and I think I can just take this and go with it. And the first step is doing exactly what I did here, laying down an outline of where this wall is going to be, and then we'll start actually building up the wall. I think it's about time we hop into a time lapse. Welcome back. It's a few days later and this thing is looking amazing. Now, it's been a few live streams that we've been working on this, and chat really helped a lot with ideas for building this, and I honestly can't believe how amazing this arena is looking. Now, I wouldn't say it's 100% complete because, let's be honest, I never really complete anything. But it is really, really close. Might want to do a little bit more detailing at the top of here. And these little seat things that I have over here, I might want to do a little bit more detailing on. I'm not sure. But other than that, this place looks awesome. One of my favorite details that I did is how I did these stairs here. With this row being stairs, and then this row being upside down stairs, it leaves a spot where I can add a hint of deep slate to help tie the deep slate from around the outside to the center of the arena, but it's nice and subtle, and I really like it. And in those live streams, we also got started on what I want to work on next by digging out a hole over down here. And down here we have this long hallway, which I want to, at the end of it, to have a nether portal. And once we go through that nether portal, I want to create a nether room in the nether, see what I did there, which is going to be used to celebrate all the people who raid us on Twitch. And I want to try to do something cool with this room as well, with a little bit of redstone. What I'm hoping to accomplish is when I walk into the room, I'll step on a pressure plate, and then the pressure plate will set off a bunch of fires to kind of make it seem like a WWE entrance, for lack of a better way to describe it, with just the fires coming up alongside of me. Then by the time we get over here, we can hit another pressure plate, which will go back and just put water on all those fires to turn them off. So next time we come here, the show's kind of ready for us again. So you know what? I think it's about time we hop into another time lapse. Welcome back. We finished up the Raiders hallway and it's looking great. We've got a whole bunch of great details around, and we have these cool pyramids which house where our fire is going to be. 2 of these are dispensers, one's a dropper. I didn't want to make them all dispensers because dispensers are expensive, okay? For this room, I kind of just went with a lot of black stone and wood, and I'm really liking this terracotta and glass feature. Basically, I just came here, hit a bunch of glowstone, and it gives the walls a really cool glow, which I'm a really big fan of. And thanks to the 1.18 lighting update, we get to use all sorts of cool lighting sources now, like the soul lanterns, which used to not give off enough light to make mobs not spawn, and the glow lichen. And this place is actually completely unspawnable. So if I turn on the light overlay, you'll see that nothing dips below 0, and it's pretty minimal lighting. Yeah, I like it. And yeah, I actually already went ahead and did the redstone. We can have a quick look down here. Basically, it's just a whole bunch of redstone wires doing timing and stuff like that. It's pretty basic stuff. But if I step on this pressure plate right here, it activates it. So if I press this, you'll see the fire in the room starts to come on while you're walking down towards the portal. And then at some point after all the fire is on, I wanted to be able to reset it. So every time I come here, I get to enjoy the show. So I think it's about 10 seconds later that all of the fire will turn off by a quick pulse of water. There we go. And you'll notice that the portal still isn't lit, and I'm going to save that for later because I kind of want to decorate the nether side of the Raiders room on Twitch because it's kind of used to celebrate people on Twitch. So I want the chat's input. So I'm going to save that for another time, and hopefully I'll remember. I'm sure I'll remember to show it to you later in the episode or maybe in the next episode. Now, before we move on from this room, I have one other idea that I think would make this look really cool, and that's adding a little bit of armor stand work. So I'm adding a little bit of a podium here that would go in between each single one of these. And yeah, that's looking pretty good. And the idea is to put an armor stand on top of here, and I'm thinking we'll put them with some netherite armor so they look really cool. So yeah, this is probably going to be really expensive. I don't even know if I have enough. Do I have enough netherite? I've got 24 pieces. We might need to do a little bit of netherite mining. I haven't done the math yet, but I'm going to go ahead, get this in place, and see what this place finally looks like. And here we have it, all the fires and the Ravagers with the netherite armor in place, and this room is looking really awesome. Now, how about we go ahead and look at what our next project is going to be. And to do that, we'll come over here into the Colosseum redstone, and you'll notice that I've been very busy digging a giant hole underneath, and that's because I want to turn this into a mob farm, and it actually looks like we already have. So far we've dug down to Y25, and I want to take it down to about Y5 or wherever deep slate starts because I don't want to have to deal with the uninstaminable deep slate. But the whole idea for this place is I want a couple mob farms in here, filtering mobs down into a place, and then I want to have a mob sorter so we can sort out all the zombies from the skeletons, from the creepers, from the spiders. And then maybe once we have all the mobs, we can send them up and we can have a few extra mobs to fight when we're fighting in the raid arena. Now, I'm just going to get back to digging, get this to where I need it, and then we'll get started on these mob farms. Okay, and now we have everything dug down to Y9, which happens to be the height at which you start seeing deep slate. I thought it was Y5. I learned, oh, it's Y8. Wow, I'm wrong again. Yeah, down to Y8, and I got these 2 platforms in, trying to figure out where I want the general platforms for this mob spawner to be. And I was thinking we could have 2 platforms right here that drop down just below here, and that's where we could start sorting the mobs and figuring out what we want to do with them from there. And now when it comes to the design for this mob farm, we're just going to go with a basic flushing mob farm. So I'm going to get a bunch of dispensers and observers and some sort of clock to get water going on these platforms like so, to just flush all the water out to the sides, push the mobs down, and then yeah, we'll sort them. And yeah, so I'm going to go ahead, hop into another time lapse of me building up this mob farm. Apparently glow squid farm. Oh my, Mojang, we need to figure out something to do about these glow squid spawn mechanics, because I don't know, I find them really annoying. Is it just me? Leave a comment down below what you think about the glow squid spawning mechanics. And time lapse time. And now here we have a basic mob farm. I got, what, I think like 8 layers each row, and then your basic hopper clock up here, which activates a line, which activates a bunch of dispensers to flush the mobs down. And now I need to think about where I'm going to catch the mobs and then sort them. And to show you how I plan on sorting the mobs, I brought you into my creative world where I can show you this kind of rudimentary sorting mechanism I have going on here. But here, let me just show you how it works. So the mobs we can get from the mob farm are creepers, zombies, skeletons, spiders, and occasionally a witch. So I'm going to put a few of these into the thing that channels them down there, and we can see what happens. So first here we have our spider killing area, so if any spiders clog up the system, they get pushed up into the lava and allow the other mobs to go through. And next we have this spot here, which separates the undead mobs, which are the skeletons and the zombies who float down, and then the creepers and the witches just go above. Now over here we have another sorter sorting the zombies and the skeletons away. So the zombies end up over here and the skeletons end up over here, and that's all because of this chain and sea pickle combination here, which just allows the zombies through. And then lastly, at the end, I made a witch versus creeper sorter, which it just basically uses the fact that creepers are shorter than this trapdoor signal, and they'll get pushed over to this area here. Then the witches won't be able to go under the trapdoor, and they'll just end up in this little hole over here. And yeah, so now that we've sorted all the mobs, we can find a way to send them up into the raid arena. And now I've partially done that here in the world now. I've got this sorting set up here to sort all of the mobs to where I want them, and then I wanted to send them up closer to the farm so they're not down here right at the edge of where they could despawn, because if we get them closer up to us, they're less likely to despawn. Here, let's actually go up and see if we can see this thing running. Okay, so we see some mobs are now spawning on the platforms once this goes, or they'll just jump off, but once this goes, the water releases, flushes all the mobs out. Looks like we only got a few spiders this time, but we'll see what happens when we get some other stuff as well. Okay, so we got a few skeletons now, so they should sink down there, and then, once they get through the sorting, all the zombies should get pushed over into that water column, and all the skeletons should eventually, maybe another skeleton has to come through to nudge this one, or maybe I'll have to figure out a slightly different water setup here to force the skeleton this way. Oh, there we go. So yeah, the skeletons make their way down, and they will make their way up the bubble columns eventually. I think there's maybe a little bit of work I could do here. Oh, there goes the spider killer working. So yeah, everything looks like it's working as planned, but I moved everything up to the top here because I wanted them closer to the arena so that's quicker when I need to grab them. And then there's the same idea at the back of the farm for creepers. I could show that. So any creepers or non-undead mobs like witches that come through won't sink down in the middle here, and they'll just fall in this water column and then make their way up to the top as well. So now the next step of the process is to connect up these channels where we store the mobs with this circuit board. Today, all I want to do is connect up our creeper friends over here so we can grab them and put them in the arena, because I don't think I'm going to do anything with the zombies or the skeletons yet, but I still want to store them for something for later. And we also need to create a creeper fetching system, so a minecart that just brushes underneath where the creepers will be sitting, and it'll take them to wherever it puts them into the arena. And we also need to connect up the mob farm to the redstone as well, so that's just going to be whenever the yellow line turns on, it's also going to turn on the farm. And we're just going to do that by powering this hopper here to lock the hopper clock, and that will just make sure that the water stays on so that no mobs are spawning in here whenever we don't want there to be. And here's what that looks like. We've got the green line running over here down to where the creepers are, which goes into a dispenser which releases a minecart. Here, actually, let me just show you. Press this button and off goes a creeper, and the creeper should eventually get sent out and up to the surface. And once the minecart comes around, it hits into this lava cauldron and that breaks it, and then it gets collected by these hoppers here. And that way we always keep stocked on minecarts. And then we also expanded out the yellow line to go down and activate the mob farm, and that's done by sending out a pulse that zero ticks that piston to pull the redstone block back, unlocking the hopper clock and allowing the farm to run. And that means that we have the creepers now fully working and getting sent up into the raid arena. So that means all that's left to do is run a raid and see it working, right? Wrong. You're going to have to follow me on Twitch and be there when I get a raid if you want to see that. And now, actually, let me show you guys what I did on stream to that raiders room now. And now, once again, we're going to walk through here to watch the fire show, and I just love this little bit of redstone that makes this room just a little bit cooler. We'll go through the nether portal, and you'll see what I've done. So here we are in the raiders hallway with the first 8 raids that we've gotten since we got the raid arena up. We've got freshly frozen, freshly thawed, just Arjav, it's Jamie 020. We got Rosie Yasor, Yellow Bobby, Not J Hill, and Lime Cookie. And I think the design of this room is looking really, really good. I took a lot of design from what we had in the overworld, stretched it through here, maybe mixed in a little bit more blackstone, and we changed out the colors on the sides. And I think the plan is, if this room ever gets filled somehow, because there's so many spaces, we're going to break through this wall, create another room like this, but do a different color for each room. I think that'll look really cool going on in the future of my Twitch channel. So if you want to see this Raiders hallway get filled up, make sure to head over to twitch.tv/soccercraft so you can tune in live and see us fight some raids and fill up this hallway. But with that being said, that's all the time we have for today's episode. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure you hit the like button and consider subscribing. And I'll see you guys next time. Water Tribe out.